Somebody Six Stories. And in this video, we're going to review the things that the victims had said about how Bishop Eddie Long had took advantage of them when they was 14 years old, how he made himself out to be like he was a caring person and that he was going to be a father figure for them, and how he was nothing but a predator, basically a person that was manipulating them emotionally and mentally. And for people that go to church, for people that's a part of the Black church, we need to stop being so accepting and forgiving of people who do things like this. We need to start holding these people accountable and stop being loyal to folks like this. And as you will see in these clips, that 4 other people who he took advantage of, they did sue him. And you also will see in these clips in this video what Walter Lee Hampton II, what he thinks and feels about Bishop Eddie Long.
Exclusive. For the first time, one of the men filing suit against Bishop Eddie Long is speaking out.
We're talking about Jamal Paris telling a story of what he calls a love-hate relationship with a man he considered a father. Senior IT reporter Dale Russell first broke the story. He's here with his exclusive report. Dale?
Tom, following Bishop Long's sermon on Sunday, we caught a plane to Colorado, home to Jamal Paris, the oldest of all the accusers in the case, and in a parking lot late at night, he told us a story of love, anger, and a desire to protect other young men. This is a very serious allegation, but no one has heard from you. Jamal Paris didn't want to talk at first, but before he left us, he had plenty to say about Bishop Eddie Long.
If you look at us in our eyes and you hear the pain in our voice, we don't have a reason to lie to this man.
Jamal Paris is one of the 4 young men who have filed sexual misconduct lawsuits against Bishop Long, accusing him of using scripture and church money to sexually seduce young men.
I am not the man that's being portrayed on the television. That's not me.
On Sunday, Bishop Eddie Long spoke out for the first time, never flatly denying the claims, but vowing to fight.
I feel like David against Goliath.
Since the lawsuits were filed last week, none of the 4 young men involved have talked publicly. Until now, we found Jamal Paris shopping at a 24-hour store in Colorado. Initially, he was reluctant to talk. Dale Russell of Fox 5 News in Atlanta. Can we talk to you for a second? But once he started, he told a riveting story about how as a young teen, a 14-year-old with no father in his life, he joined New Birth Missionary Baptist Church. Bishop Eddie Long came into his life. He said Long said to call him daddy and to trust him with spiritual guidance.
I loved him, and I'm always going to have love for the things that he taught me. But how he left us, it hurt worse than anything I ever felt in my life.
Paris claims in his lawsuit the father-like figure used scripture to justify sex, and he lavished money, cars, jewelry, trips in the bishop's private jet, even homes for some teens, sometimes with funds from the church coffers.
I apologize. That's how I actually got caught up into it. Like, that's how I became, let me just do everything church do. Let me do everything he say do, because I want to be like that. You got that much power. I'm listening to rappers call, say, can I rent your car? Can I borrow money from you? Because my next CD will come out. I need an event. So you hear this and you see these people around them. When I said in my first interview, it's a drug. It literally is. You're 14 years old. You don't see this stuff often. And I get the chance to be with you and just run with you just because. It's the power that he commanded when he walked into a room. That's dad. To everybody. You walk in the sermon, hey, Pops. You go into the office, hey, Pops. You walk around the city, hey, Pop. But yet he'll make sure when I walk in the city, this is my son. We're going places. I'm with the president. This is my son. I felt bad for his kids man, I don't know what y'all doing at home, but this my dad now. That's tough.
How did he transition it? How did it progress?
You're just so comfortable. And then out of nowhere, he just hits you with the most emotional question. Now, when he takes you to that emotional question, I'm taking you back to a memory. It's almost like hypnotism. Relax, lay down, talk about how you feel. And then you start vividly thinking about it, and you start crying. And that's when I talk to you. I know what you're feeling. I know what it's like. And I'm sorry, and I'm going to step in the place of your father. And I'm not going to let you go. Wow, for real? You going to do all that? That's what's up. You're my dad. So while everybody sees a well-dressed grown man, they don't know you treat me like and I grow up with that mentality, regardless of what you think my age is, and regardless of whether you think it's right. I'm 7 years old in my own eyes.
At the moment, as a 14-year-old, you're thinking like you're the luckiest kid in the world. It's like, you know, nothing can touch you. Like, you know, you always know somebody got your back, you know. And for me, it was more of a spiritual connection with them. You know, it was all about God. The day that I met him, you know, it was just like a God moment, you know. It was, you know, the most emotional point in my life that I've ever been. Like, actually, the day that I met him, he actually had a sermon about forgiving your father, about all the stuff that, you know, he did in the past. I thought, you know, this is just a God connection. Like, this is my purpose to be a part of this church. I changed my whole life because of what he told me. You know, I used to play basketball. I used to be a sport. I used to play quarterback. I was a point guard. I was a power forward, whatever. I was real skilled in basketball.
He taught me how to play chess, and I don't even like the game. I just learned how to think beyond what other people think. It's a perfect way. A predator, they have a certain pattern that they all do. And for him, it started, let me captivate you. You want to get a pretty girl? Show her a pretty ring. Show her a pretty watch. Show her a pretty necklace. Show her a pretty car. Got your attention. Okay, now that I got your attention, let me talk to you. Let me friend you. Let me show you what I really can do. Now I show you who I am is powerful. Okay, now let me befriend you. Let me get you to confide in me. Talk to me. Now I know your secrets. I got your attention. You know I'm powerful. And I got your secrets. I rule you. Now, on top of that, let me alienate you from everything you knew and everything everybody else taught you. And now let me show you how I want you to do things. Let me groom you. Now, after I groom you, you're not allowed to talk to females because I don't want a female to mess up your mind into what I'm doing. I need to keep you isolated. No, you can't have friends because I don't want your friends messing up what I tell you. You're still isolated. Now, things are happening to you in a room. Who are you going to talk to? You've isolated everyone. Everyone thinks you've abandoned them. Nobody can hear you. They just see a new behavior and a new attitude, a new person. Oh, that's stuck up now. No, you don't know what I got to do. You don't know what nightmares I have at night. So who are you to judge me? What's funny is I read so many comments after I got arrested, but nobody ever took the time to look and say, yo, what the hell did he do? I got a gun. Y'all people talking about money we got. What? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't. Yes, I protect myself. I believe everybody in America has the right to protect themselves. You caught me with bud, look at the sign of sexual abuse victims. What's the very first thing on any website you'll see? Alcoholism, drug abuse, ice. Now, is that not all stuff I did? Why am I in another city? I'm not in Atlanta. Read the signs. Judge me again.
Scandal taking on the members of his church, and do they continue to stand behind Bishop Eddie Long? Joining me right here in Atlanta now is John Campbell III, Gary Foster, and Gabrielle Richards. Thanks to all of you for joining us. They all attend New Birth Missionary Baptist Church. And via Skype from London, we have Kevin Bond. He is a Grammy Award-winning producer and former employee of New Birth. Kevin, I want to start with you, and I want to ask you, since you're now observing from the outside, do you think that most of the members of the church will stand behind Bishop Long?
First of all, thanks, Don, for the opportunity. I do. The Black church is very loyal, even sometimes to a fault. But at the same time, many of them came to Christ under Bishop Long's ministry. So they will definitely be loyal and trust that he's innocent and hope that these charges can be proven to not be true.
And what about your feelings about this? I asked you about them. How do you feel about this?
Well, without a shadow of a doubt, the information is certainly damaging. The evidence and all the things that are coming out slowly, one piece at a time, all of that is very troubling to many of us in the gospel community and the Christian community. And it is also
Sunday,
that these things are not.
January the 15th. The year is 2017. So, Bishop Eddie Long has passed away this morning. He died. Ironically, he died on Martin Luther King's holiday weekend here in Atlanta, which is also Black Gay Pride. We have a lot of Black Gay Pride events this weekend. And that has been going on for over 20 years. It's not been here. They have these huge events this weekend. So Bishop Eddie Long has passed away, and they say he died from cancer. That's not what I heard. So I was not going to really talk about Bishop Eddie Long when he was ill. But I had been hearing rumors from various people that Bishop Eddie Long was HIV positive and he was not taking his medications. I believe that story to be true, and I'm going to tell you why. I used to go to Bishop Eddie Long's church about a few years ago after the scandal broke where he was molesting these children. And I sat in his church hearing him telling people, he was having communion. And he told people that you didn't need a doctor, you didn't need a psychiatrist, you didn't need anything. And he held up this little thimble of grape juice. He said, all you need is the blood. So Bishop Eddie Long died because of his beliefs in regards to believing just that his belief that he could be healed through prayer, meditation, his belief in God, Jesus, and belief in his religion. So I firmly believe he was HIV positive, and it had turned into AIDS, and he died from cancer. So the cancer is probably more than likely AIDS related. Bishop Eddie Long has been around for a long time. I once lived right down the street in Lithonia in 1997 from one of Bishop Eddie Long's homes at the time. And I met several young men who were having sexual encounters with Bishop Eddie Long. Bishop Eddie Long is a gay man. We just have to be truthful about this. The man was gay and religious. He got married, had a wife and children, but he still liked young men. A lot of people, I don't know why black folks have such a hard time with this. When that scandal broke about Bishop Eddie Long and those young men, I knew about this years ago before it even broke. Before the story was even surfaced in 3 years ago. I knew about this back in 1997, 1996. So there's something strange about, and I've said this before, you have a lot of people in the church, a lot of men in the church who, pastors, music directors, singers, all kinds of stuff. They're in the church, they're very religious individuals, but they're actually homosexual. Why? I don't know. I've never understood this. Maybe they go into the church and say, I'm going to pray and I'm going to hope and I'm going to give myself to the Lord so He can forgive me for the stuff that I do on Saturday night. And that could be the case. Some of the most, the guys I met who are involved in the church team have proven who are just some of the most, they participate in some of the most whorish, dangerous, reckless activities that I've ever seen. So at one point in the 90s, here in Atlanta, you had HIV was killing these pastors in these churches left and right. It was taking them out. It was taking out their wives. It was taking out the congregations. It was taking out. HIV swept through Atlanta in the 90s, late 80s and 90s, and had a devastating impact on the church team here. But you never heard about this. They kept this all a secret.
Not even an hour ago. Made the post not even an hour ago. And this hoe-ass, dead-ass pedophile family tries to jump on my page to talk shit to me, threatening me, talking about you in a Crip gang. What the fuck? See, this is... the problem. This is the problem right here. You used to thinking that people are afraid of you. Ain't nobody fucking afraid of you. Ain't nobody scared of you. Talking about you gonna travel to come and see me. Bitch, I'll be in Brooklyn on Wednesday morning. See, the difference between you and me is I'm not afraid of you. I will look you dead in the eye. I don't give a fuck if your uncle or your family or whoever it is, I don't give one flying hell. If he's dead, undead, vampire, zombie, alive, ghost, I don't give a fuck. That I talked about him before. I don't care. I will stay consistent with his weak ass, with his pedophile child, little boy raping ass. The problem is you're more focused on protecting a rapist, and maybe it's because you have daughters and you don't have sons, so he wasn't fucking them. Is that what it is? He wasn't fucking your child, so you didn't care? So you want to protect him because he's related to you? Well, your blood is poison, and all of you motherfuckers need to be wiped out. You think you honestly think that this is that? Ain't nobody scared of you. Ain't nobody scared of the motherfucking church. If the church had some power to do something, we would have never been slaves in the first place, you backwoods fucking bitch.